second. That's working too. Believe. Give me a second. It does seem to be working. Okay. Where? Oh my gosh. Trying to set up my phone should not be this hard. Okay. I think I figured out what was happening of why I wasn't able to stream to Twitch and YouTube, but now it should be working, and it looks like both chats are working too. I hope everything looks good. I was watching some of my streams back just before I started this, and I was like, okay, like it's actually kind of funny. I was like, I would totally watch my own streams. Like that's what I thought to myself. I was like, it's kind of lame, but I was like, I would totally watch my own stream. Um, so today I wanted to try my hand at writing on camera. I haven't done it before, and I honestly wanted to see what it would be like. So yeah, this is most likely going to be a VOD that I just throw up on YouTube as well. And today I have lo-fi that's going to be playing for you guys, but I'm luckily going to be playing my own music because I found a cool way to do it. So, gonna be listening to some dope ass violin, but you guys listen to some lo-fi, and that is kind of loud. So, right here. So I wrote a bit of this book already. You can see some of the story details. I realized I don't actually want my character to be so close to my name anymore. So I think I'm going to change the name. And I just noticed that you guys can't see the notepad that's right here, and I'm kind of glad for that. It means I can write some ideas over here, and then post them back. Well, put them up on here. So you can already see the main character's real name up here. But I kind of wanted to change it. The name of the book is still going to stay the same because I still like the idea of discover your limits, and it's something you also will find out as you go more through the story. So, what name did I potentially want to do? And it's certainly not listening to that ad, so it's whatever. They had witch names up here. Yeah. And I hope you guys can see those names. If not, don't even worry about it. Or what I end up doing if I don't like any of those names is not people though, witches. Because sometimes I like to have middle ground names, so that way anyone can aspire whatever name they want to that character, basically. You also all got to see my Nelliel background for my computer. Well, for at least my Opera GX. I usually just skim over shit because I want to see what I'll pick up. And I don't want to do an R name. I don't want to do an S name. So I'm just kind of hoping something clicks out to me. Are there any better names that are on like here, maybe? Maybe this will be better. Albion is really interesting. Aphelion would be kind of cool. I also like nicknames. I'm just a nickname person. If you look back at one of my videos, I talk about how I like nicknaming people. So it would be interesting to do something with that in the story as well. I need to put this on silent. I kind of like Remington, not gonna lie. Riddell, Riddle, Reddle. Is that what we're saying? Reddle. See, I need to not get caught up in those names. I also need to not be too weird with the name. Because if you get too weird with the name, then like it doesn't catch on. Or sometimes the weird name does catch on. That Drew kind of called out to me. Is that Aeon or Eon? I never know how to say this name, and I don't want to look up how to phonetically say it right now. Kyrie is kind of nice, but that also makes me think of Kingdom Hearts, and maybe I'd be copying that a little bit. Seneca makes me think of Seneca Crane. Unicus? Unicus. Uni. No, that hits a little close to home because I still want to go to college, and I've already had the college joke used on me already, and I really would not want to write it. Quixley is weird. $750. That's wild. Arden. That's kind of nice. See? And then it's our names like this that really fucking catch me. That Riven. Alindra. Wow. And Orion's up there. I'm gonna give myself a 2-minute timer, 3-minute timer, so I don't have to make one. Wait. Okay. I don't know what that is. I'll just put that over there. Those are S's, those are A's. I like an M name. Wait. 46 of which one? Cause sorry, Cry, I didn't see your message. Also, hi. Which one? 46 here? Valen? That one? I will write that. Someone doesn't listen. I wrote Valen down and got distracted. There we go. Now I can actually search things and not feel weird about it. Cool, that's going off. I want to see. Okay, so Maris is definitely not one of them. Yeah. But I also wanted to see what else comes from it. Yeah, sure. I kind of like that name. Because there's also stuff you can do with it. So I think Valen has won. And I think the last name still works. So, yes. Just one little changer up. Cool. Now, we go here. My actual story. And I don't want to listen to this anymore. Click the wrong shit. Where is it? There we go. So, I read this the other day, and I kind of was like, I want to change some of the stuff in it, because like it's definitely good, but there's stuff that's definitely missing from the story. So I want to add some things into it. Can you play the fucking song for me? Thank you. You know what? I'm gonna move these over here. That way. When they open, I don't have to worry about them. Nope. That's not what I want. That's what I want. There we go. That's beautiful. So, Celeste is the kind of bad guy of the story. I say kind of because as you will go through the story, you'll learn more about her. But the general synopsis of Celeste is she is a forced bad guy. And that's part of what you'll find out through the story. But I'm gonna say, she says, "Why waste a bullet?" Celeste jokes, waving her gun about as she walks next to Rachel standing behind Jericho. So, I'm not narrating this for anyone. How do I want to do this? Yeah, before the better story that will hopefully be out by the end of this. I waste a bullet. Forgotten about as she walks next to Rachel, standing behind Jericho. So she's like right here. Holsters her gun and begins caressing his face. Around with his head, she looks gleefully. Snaps Jericho's neck and lets his limp body fall to the ground. Using him off the ground, grabs him by the back of the he would be crying out in pain from like basically having his hair pulled out of his head. Because like your body weight is not going to be holding all that weight. And Spider crawls up his neck and grabs him by the back of the head. I'm just gonna say grabs him by the back of the head. Oh. His hair, raising him off the ground. While his painful pain-filled noises escape his lips. The realization stretches across his face. Celeste snaps Jericho's neck and lets his limp body fall to the ground. Jason buries his head in the ground and lets out a small cry. A hand spider crawls up his neck and grabs the back of his head by his hair, raising him off the ground while pain-filled noises escape his lips. Escape his mouth. And as he is faced with Celeste twisted grin, anger, royal burns from within him. Silencing his pain. That was weird. Raising him off the ground I need the music to stop for a second. Because for some reason, usually I can think with music, but right now, no, I can't. Up his neck and grabs the back of his head by his hair, raising him off the ground while pain-filled noises escape his mouth. Spider crawls up his neck and grabs him by the back of his hair, raising him off the ground, and then the rest of his body, no, he doesn't need to make eye contact. Raising him off the ground, and then Celeste forces Jason to his knees. Holding the clump of his hair firm. Wait. Holding Jason. Holding the clump of Jason's hair firmly in her hand. Celeste turns back towards Rachel with a violent smile. Violent. That's what I thought. I wouldn't. Okay. Yeah, I just don't know how words work. Demoniac? Desperate, distraught, disturbed. I like unrestrained. Where did my book go? With an unrestrained smile stretched across her face. Ow! Fuck! I don't know why I put that there when I see that the next line is not that. So what I'm gonna do is, because I do want that to happen. Fuck. I meant to put that in the next area. That's not where I meant that to go. Okay, I know you know where to put where I'm trying to save at. That is so frustrating. This is where I was trying to put it at. Yeah, I'm not going to do this part. Celeste brings her lips to Jason's ear. Celeste giggles. Tightening her grip on the hair, on the clump of hair in her hand. And then Celeste turns back towards Rachel with an Celeste brings her lips to Jason's ear. No hiding. Whispers gleefully with a cheerful giggle. And turning her head towards tightening her grip on the clump of hair in her hand. Celeste whispers gleefully with a cheerful giggle, tightening her grip on the clump of hair in her hand, and turns back towards Rachel with an unrestrained smile stretched across her face. Make sure you can see everything. That's fine. That's fine right there. She does not. I think I have something for Raquel. It's Rachel, but my brain was like, I want to do a joke. I'm getting messages through here. Okay. pulls out a few seeds. Pulls out a few seeds. Rachel reaches behind her back and pulls out a few. Reaches behind her back. Searching in her back pouch. She pulls out a handful of plant seeds and tosses them up. Why do I become dumb the moment I put music back on? That is so frustrating me right now. Like, I literally can't focus. Like, I've never had this problem before. Maybe it's because I'm thinking I need to talk while I'm also doing this. I don't know, but the moment the music comes on, my brain goes right out the fucking window. That's so weird. The air landing neatly on the ground around Jason. With a few quick hand gestures from Rachel, the seeds bury themselves into the earth. Yeah, into the earth. Do you? I guess you don't capitalize it. Bury themselves into the earth. And spread up, wrapping themselves around Jason. Immobilizing him and making him immobilizing him, paralyzing him, and controlling him, making him face the altar without control. bullshit that I had before. Manhandles him? He's already manhandled. What the fuck else are you manhandling him into? Like, is there another position he's magically gonna fucking be in now? Fuck. I don't know why I'm mad at... Well, I know why I'm mad at my own writing. Because it's like a lot of writers. We are mad at the dumb shit we do. Skips toward the altar and around to the other side of the altar. Tapping her fingers along the stone carvings on the altar and singing a creepy little show tune. Celeste looks down. Celeste skips toward the altar and around. And around the other side of the altar, tapping her fingers along the stone carvings on the altar and singing a creepy show tune as she skips. Celeste looks down upon the still glowing baby lying on the altar and brandishes a knife from within her dress. She runs down upon the still glowing baby lying on the altar. And brandishes a dagger. Let's not be lame. From within her dress, she runs the edge of the dagger across the altar's edge, tapping the blade a few times. And then she raises the dagger overhead. Singing a creepy show tune, Celeste looks down upon the still glowing baby lying on the altar and brandishes a dagger from within her dress. She runs the edge of the dagger across the altar's edge, tapping the blade a few times, adding more lines to the song as she taps. And then she raises the dagger overhead. The baby opens his eyes, staring deeply into Celeste's eyes. Aw, I can't wait to watch the light leave those little eyes. Celeste laughs, bringing the knife down towards the babe. In a moment before the blade could pierce the babe's I don't know why the fuck I even wrote that. It's not even baby disappeared, and Celeste drove the blade deep into the altar. In a moment before the blade could pierce the baby's aura, the baby disappeared. And Celeste drove and unable to stop the momentum, Celeste drove the blade deep into the altar. Celeste tried to pull the knife out but couldn't. Something was keeping the knife in the stone. She let go of the knife, knowing she couldn't get the knife out of the stone. How could she know? Believing. She couldn't get the knife out of the stone, and looked up to see a cloaked figure turned away from her, opening a loose standing door. Inside the door stood a young man and his wife. They rushed to embrace the baby, but then the door slammed shut. "He's mine," Celeste growled from the other side of the door. Celeste punched through the door, her hand going for what she thought was the cloaked figure's throat, but was stopped when a white-gloved hand reached up and caught her by the wrist. Bright silver eyes pierced from the darkness cast by the hood of the cloak. That's starring or staring? Staring daggers through Celeste. In an instant, they moved from the door. Wait, why are those fucking... Why are those cut? So this should be a paragraph. In an instant, they moved from the door and back to the altar. In one solid fluid motion, the figure flipped Celeste over their shoulder and used her body to smash the altar. The knife and the rock, bound to it, crashed into a tree, embedding the rock in the knife. Okay, I need to fucking change out. I just want to make sure it was only dagger. I need to right here and here. Tree, embedding the rock and the dagger into the tree. The figure raised a dazed Celeste out of the rubble and examined her for a moment. "I think you should have a seat." And I always liked this idea in any ever writing or shows I've ever seen or anything like that. I always thought it would just be cool for the person to just stop all the fighting, all the BS, all everything, and the character throws her kind of like a rag doll, and as you can read, throws them into this chair that is manifested, and they just slide back and get stopped, and now they're in this seat. And I just liked that idea because it's just so funny that they're just like, you need to just take a chill pill, get in timeout, it's fine, I'll deal with this, we'll fix the issue. Because the biggest spoiler I can give to this is he's a cleaner, in a sense. He's always fixing issues, so that's basically what he's kind of doing right now. He's like, go take a seat, I'll fix your fuck up, it's fine, I got it, don't worry about it. But she doesn't see it as that. I think you should have a seat. Do I need another Red Bull? Why am I so fucking tired? I think you should have a seat. The figure chuckled. I was gonna say with a deep reverberating voice because, well, not deep. Like, I'm trying to think of the way I would describe this, and one day, whenever I narrate my own audiobook, I hope to get the voices right for it. But like for this dude, I almost think of how the hollows are in Bleach. I like how they get like 2 or 3 different voices basically. So the idea that this character basically has is they're using the cloak as a shroud to hide themselves, so they would also change their voice. They kind of did it a little bit in The Flash too, and I kind of like that, how you vibrate your vocal cords. So there's like multiple different ways you could do it with not just magic. Like the person could honestly probably do it physically if they trained up to it. Okay. I think the answer is I need another Red Bull. I think you should have a seat. The figure chuckled and then threw her like a rag doll into a black oak wood chair. And the reason I am even specifying what chair is being made is because I wanted, so some things, there's a whole point to this. So I always liked in writing and movies and stuff like that, where they give you the ending first, or at least a big part of the ending first, and that's what I'm doing with this. I'm giving you a chunk of like basically the final fight, and there will be a couple more chapters ideally after this, or I'll just wrap it up basically a little bit after this fight. But the idea is I'm giving you stuff now that I explain later. And there's a reason why he's using black oak, and it's because of, if you look up the witch significance of black oak, it's actually really cool, and I liked it for this story. Conjured by the figure, and both Celeste ragdoll into a black oak wood chair conjured by the figure. Celeste in the chair skidded backward a few feet before stopping abruptly. Best seat in the house. So the idea also that I'm trying to find out where to put it in today, if not in general, is where they're basically at. So if you've seen Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, it's either in that one or it's in the second one. I think it's in the second one where they go to the guy with the bucket for the port key. But it's definitely in Thor the Dark World, and I know most people have seen that movie. But that little part of, I believe it's Iceland, is where they're at. But that little, like, beachy kind of mountainy area. Hold on. Hela. Wait. First, Thor and Loki. Location. Okay. That's helpful. No shit. But, like, what's it called? But, like, this area that they go to is basically where they're supposed to be fighting. Oh my gosh, it's Ragnarok, but still, I'm trying to think of what the landscape is even called. Wait, am I just dumb? Is that Greenland? Like, seriously? Nope. Really, we're like right there. We're like right there. All you gotta do is just tell me where it's called. Nope, not where I care. We are gonna fight. We are gonna fight. Which one's gonna help me first? Okay, obviously not you. I am going to lose it. Homie. For real? Okay, whatever. But you guys get the point. I'm trying to figure out how to write that in here. The figure appeared back at the door, waving their gloved hand over the hole, and the door began to mend itself. As the last piece fell back into place, the figure reached for the door handle and opened the door once again. What happened? The father asked, looking on at the figure while his wife claimed the crying baby from the figure's outstretched arms. I don't need to say this. The figure silently closed the door after confirming safety of baby with to I think you are right, because I saw a thing on one of the articles that said they did film in Norway. Yeah, it just does not want to show me. The figure silently closed the door. And then it vanished into the ether. Nope, ether is a word. I always get angry about this. I swear, we all know ether is a word. Because it's in books. Like, it's in legitimate, like, non-fiction and shit. But every time I type it into any website, anything, it's like, nope, ether doesn't exist. That's not a thing. Shit. That's, yeah. Everyone knows what ether is. And I even spelled it right. Like, I never understand how this works. But now I want to read this. This is going in writing for later. Because I will have use of that. Also, I need to do this. How the fuck? What the fuck? Thank you. Holy shit. Yeah. So this is basically where the final fight happens at. This is a better view. Is there a motherfucking city right there? Oh, this is gonna get weird. That's interesting. That is very interesting. So basically the idea, I wish I could have just zoomed into that. But basically the idea is this is happening on like a far part of the island or mountain or cliff that would be like away from people. And basically this is a previously used site for rituals and stuff like that. So the idea is this stone thing has been used before, this spot has been used before, and basically they're like right over here basically. In my head canon, which I'm it's not really a spoiler, but one thing that is getting added later, because basically what I'm doing for this, and I know I said I was going to add it to this, but now that I actually think about it, the better place to add it to is when I write the actual chapter, because of course this is going to happen in the story later. So when I write this actual chapter to, you know, give everyone the context that leads up to us, because this is a midway through the chapter that I'm writing for this first chapter. So to give everyone all the context to it, the idea is what I'm going to end up doing before I lose my train of thought is telling everyone what is actually going on in this space later. So right now, there isn't just Jericho, Jason, Celeste, Rachel, and now Valen, who's there. There is not just those 5 people that are at that location. There is like more than 40 people there. Because Celeste does a spell, and it's not a spoiler, it's just adding more to the scene that you'll find out later. She does a spell that brings all the loved ones of the people that are basically fighting her to her, kind of like in Weapons almost, but brings them all to her so that way she can have leverage over them. And this is it's basically like a soul spell, so it's whoever you are soulfully connected to. So it's not like your acquaintances and stuff will appear. It's more like I hope that didn't break anything. It's more like all of your deepest, closest friendships would appear, and like the people you most care about would appear. Okay. Echo to Rito. The figure silently closed the door, and then it vanished into the ether. The cloak... well... and then it... well... to face Celeste. The cloak ignites and flames and... hold on. Am I saying this all in past tense? I feel like I keep switching tenses. I'm not gonna worry about it right now. The cloak ignites, inflames, and disintegrates. Blowing away with the wind. While the door disappears from... the cloak ignites, inflames, and disintegrates, blowing away with the wind. With the wind. I guess all the drama doesn't need to be there. Close the door. Closes the door. Vanishing in a moment. And then turns to face Celeste. The cloak ignites and flames and disintegrates, blowing away with the wind. revealing a battered and bloody Valen underneath, except for the fresh white gloves. Blood pattered slowly, dripping from the edges of his suit to the ground, a gaping hole in his chest where his heart should be. Her concentration over the plants impossible, Rachel gasped, letting her concentration over the plant. Jason sensed the binding. No. Yeah, we're not doing that. And took his opportunity to break loose. Jason sprung to his feet, launching himself at Rachel. Sprung up to his feet, launching himself at Rachel. Jason sensed the bindings loosen and took his opportunity to break loose. He sprung to his feet, launching himself at Rachel. He was suddenly stopped in his tracks. I think I add a comma here. Leave her alone. Valen stated. The invisible webs halting He was suddenly stopped in his tracks, feeling invisible thread like bindings halting his movements again. Okay. I had a U. Jason sensed the bindings loosen, and he took his opportunity to break loose. He sprung to his feet, launching himself at Rachel. He was suddenly stopped in his tracks, feeling invisible thread-like bindings, halting his movements again. I guess I don't need the again. Halting his movements. Leave her alone, Valen stated, putting his hand on Jason's shoulder. Silver thread like wrappings revealed. Become visible around. Become visible on Jason before Hello viewers, how's everyone doing? I'm taking a little mental moment. Who's all in here? I know Cry's in here. Thank you for helping me find stuff as well. How's everyone's day been? Josh, are you back from YouTube or are you still watching me on YouTube? Either or. I think this is going to be the first VOD that's going to become a video for my channel. It'll be writing my first chapter. Unless I also work on my second chapter, then maybe I'll add in some other shit to it. Jason pushed him to the side. Looking down at Jericho's body and then back up at Rachel. Oh, well, hold on. Jason pushed Valen to the side. Wait. Stop letting her come. Jason sensed the bindings loosen and took his opportunity to break loose, and he sprung to his feet, launching himself at Rachel. He was suddenly stopped in his tracks, feeling invisible thread-like bindings halting his movements. Leave her alone, Valen stated. Jason turned his body. Jason turns his body. Turns on his heels. And tries to punch Valen with a quick... Hold on. Disappear. Jason turns on his heels and tries to punch Valen with a quick haymaker. I believe that's how you spell haymaker. Okay, I was right. But Valen was no longer standing there. But Valen was no longer standing there. Wow, dude. I want you to know how long that delay is. Hi, 13. What's up? Hi, new viewer. Here, popping in, new. Trying to think of how I want to do this. Good to hear that. Good to hear that. Always good to hear peeps doing good. It's my first time doing a writing stream, so seeing how everything's going. I've been just kind of writing away, talking every so often to chat. Really just trying to figure out right now how I'm dealing with this story. Well, what brings you here? How's your... Just searching around, looking at stuff? I'm taking a quick break while I think about what I'm doing here. Just that would be easier so I can see how much Nice. I actually got kind of excited when I saw how many people are actually in this category. I was like, wow, okay, so there might actually be some kind of hope for me just streaming and writing. Because I was already doing a bit of gaming, but I definitely think this would be really cool for me. Because I have so many ideas that just pop into my head all the time. Valen. No. Jason turns on his heels and tries to punch Valen with a quick haymaker. But Valen I usually write fiction, like this story right now. The basic concept of the story is what would I do if I had magical powers? But I'm adding on other stuff to it. So, like, the book is called Discover Your Limits because part of the story is the main character and other characters discovering what their limits of their powers are and also their limits in the world, because not everyone, even the most powerful people, do not have to be the most powerful just because they are the most powerful. Because, like, I kind of like that notion, especially more now that I watched Freerin, because I like what, in a way, I kind of like their idea of the story of, like, not being too big, but more so I'm writing with the notion that you are to be who you want to be. You don't have to be the biggest, baddest person just because you have the most power. You can be anyone, and even the smallest, most least powerful people can be the most powerful people. It's just what you're limited by, and that limit can be yourself, your knowledge. It can also just be your power that can keep you limited, but there's ways you can get around that limit, and that's something else I explore in this story, or want to explore in this story. I have it all majority like written in my head, but it's getting pen to paper, not having a lot of, or at least feeling like I have a lot of time to write what I want to write down. The figure silently closes the door, vanishing in a moment, and then turns to face Celeste. The cloak ignites. Senses the bindings loosen, and he. This is what I mean. I'm like writing in past tense in some parts and present tense in others, and I need to fix that. Jason's into the bindings loosen, and he takes his opportunity to break loose. He springs to his feet, launching himself at Rachel. He was suddenly stopped in his tracks, feeling invisible thread-like bindings halting his movements. Putting his hand on Jason's shoulder, silver thread-like wrappings become visible on Jason and then disappear. Jason turns on his heels and tries to punch Valen with a quick haymaker, but Valen is no longer standing there. Looking down at Jericho's body and then back up at Rachel, he walks silently. He walks silent and without emotion towards Jason. Turns on his heels and tries to punch Valen with a quick haymaker, but Valen is no longer standing there. Valen looking down at Jericho's body and then back up at Rachel. A few times. Down at Jericho's body and then back up at Rachel a few times, and he walks silent without emotion towards Rachel. He punches her in the face, feeling parts of the bones in her face break along with her nose as the punch made contact. He punches her in the face, feeling parts of the bones in her face break along with her nose. Face break. As the punch made contact, I guess we don't need that. Jason turns on his heels and tries to punch Valen with a quick haymaker, but Valen is no longer standing there. Valen looks down at Jericho's body and back up at Rachel a few times. Break. Blood staining his white gloves. Punches her in the face, feeling parts of the bones in her face break. Blood staining his white gloves. What part of this follows our deal? Valen growls. The real point of this is to show he'll use his magic with some people when he's like clearly trying to like keep it together and be calm. But then when his emotions are heightened, he's like, fuck the magic. I'm just going to punch you in the face as hard as I can. And that's pretty much what this is. Whined and gurgled because I would expect, and as someone who's had part of their face broke, there would be like blood in her mouth and stuff like that, so it would be kind of hard for her to talk. Whined and gurgled, holding her face as blood poured from her nose. Nose and mouth. Beginning to fill his tone. I don't know. I feel like if Jake found out that I colluded to potentially have my friends killed, he'd be pretty pissed. So reached a hand towards Rachel's face. She recoils in fear of being hurt, and Valen waves her fear away as he touches her face, healing her wounds instantly, and then punches her in the face again, breaking her face even more. Worse than the first time. Oh, the punching her in the face? Or the fixing Jericho? Yeah, because I'm pretty... I would genuinely do that. I'd be like, wave, and then just... Sorry, I didn't hit you hard enough the first time. Because obviously, I wouldn't fucking heal her. Why? She isn't even gonna fucking help the fight. Valen states with his piercing eyes staring down at Rachel as she covers her face. Examining the hole. Examining the hole in Rion's chest further. close. Valen kneels down to Jericho's body, examining the break. Valen extends his hand towards Rachel. His hand contorts, and then a silver pentacle appears over her chest. A smoky black ball plumes from her chest and floats over to Valen's hand. Our deal is done. You can go now, Valen states. Before Rachel vanishes. Which, you know, you literally just heard her go, I'm going fucking crazy being here. I need to get the fuck out of here. I also wanted to make sure you guys can see more of my beautiful background. I keep like jumping conversations with myself and you guys because I think I'm saying stuff that I'm just thinking to myself because I'm also thinking about the story. So I'm like, I'm saying the part of the story that I want to write and I'm thinking what I want to say to you guys. So fun. Manifest another. Oh. I think this is probably number 1. Because then I can stand up better and interact with the camera. How rude. Okay. Okay. Valen manifests another silver pentacle in his other hand. Using both hands, he casts several spells without incantations to change the form of the energy into a ball glowing red. I don't like reverse. I think that is stupid. So what we are actually going to do is I'm going to look at reverse, but I also want to look at fix. Bad luck, failure, turn upside down or backwards, cancel, oh, change. Send, revoke, modify, repel, squash, overturn, undo. I like revoke, invalidate, dismantle, annul. Alter is also nice, but we've also used alter too much in this, so I think alter is out. These seem kind of lame. Retract, upset, renege. No, I don't think those work. Have to face, back battle, convert, shift. Oops. Transfer, rearrange. I don't even think that works. Misfortune, mishap. Switch, turn, turnabout, turning, underside. Okay, nope. We are gonna go with revoke. Wait. Or another good one could be Well, I do plan to like. So the idea is to like tell you what it's saying now. But like I was probably gonna. Cause like he's not saying in English. He's not saying. Cause like Magick isn't English. I wasn't gonna do it, but I'm gonna write reject. I'm just gonna bleach the whole thing. Fallon puts the ball of energy into Jericho's neck. The break instantly repairs. And then Jericho's eyes shoot open. Jericho picks himself off the ground and begins looking around, wide-eyed and confused. Fallon's chest. A long time ago, the war between this witch and I started. Throughout this... Oh, wait. Throughout the centuries, her influence has been the driving force of most magical creatures. Some quite literally, allowing her to control them because their souls have become hers. Like a warlock patron's magic, eventually becoming a sorcerer's source, allowing her to control them. I offered to free Rachel of her influence and use that influence to bring back Jericho. Happy? Explains... with an emotional tone. An emotionless tone. Emotionless tone. animation. Explains with animation. Explains with animation. Explains less in the beginning. And getting more animated by the end. Yeah. Fuck, I just had a great comeback. Don't lose it. I hate when I do this, because like this is one of the other fun things about being the writer that I am, is like sometimes I read my own shit back and then I think of great comebacks for stuff and I'm trying to catch it before I lose it. First my brother, now my sister. Is there any family I have that won't betray me? I want to say something like, is there anyone even left to betray you? Do you remember what brought you back here? Valinas. Walking up. And wait. Valen scoffs. Before strolling to the opposite side of the altar to Celeste. Do you remember why you are here. What brought you here? Anything other than that blind rage that I'm so bored of? Yeah, this is also one of the weirdly nice things about being a writer too, that you're also putting yourself into your own character's shoes. I have weirdly become incredibly bored by writing this character, Celeste, because like she's the type of character in other shows and stuff like that that I myself, if I was a character in that show, would probably just murk that person as quickly as possible, because their unhinged rage is literally boring to me. You have nothing else but that burning hatred. God, you piss me off. Like, I just want to get it over with as quickly as possible. And I know the only way to stop some type of creature like that, anything like that, is to just nip it in the bud. We're just gonna fucking finish it and just get it over with. But of course, there would be no story if the character just did that. So you gotta find out why that didn't just happen. There's also another thing that I need to get back to. I don't know what I'm doing with this. Where is it? Valen stretches his hand out towards the blade, the dagger lodged in the tree. And flourishes his hand with a come here motion. Flourishing his hand with a and the blade dislodges itself from the stone. Dislodges itself from the stone and shoots. flings itself into balance, outstretched hand. Ambient energy begins to swirl around Celeste. Powerful, multi-colored ambient energy begins to swirl around Celeste as she tries to channel the energy into a spell. But the spell continues to fizzle. Oh, wait. But the energy continues to bounce off of her instead of through. Listening? What the fuck is that? I hope that's not being picked up on camera. Don't start again after I put my headphones back on. That's rude. I have multiple different runes carved into that chair. Each one of them affects you in all types of fun ways, taking your magic, rejecting energy, and so on. Valen smirked, flourishing his hand as he talked. His hands as he talks. One of my biggest weaknesses is seeing the big picture, always has been, but I never noticed how much of the big picture I was missing until I realized I had you the whole time. But this honestly doesn't make that much sense. So I'm going to try and make it make sense. One of my biggest weaknesses is seeing the big picture. Not being able to do anything about it. But watch it happen with no powers. altar. And starts and continues walking towards Celeste. Oh, I have a better thing to do. Celeste tantrum becomes cut off with a snap, and her lips slamming shut. Alan hums. Silence is nice. Seeing the big picture and not being able to do anything about it. Watch it happen with no powers. You say, I have no right to take your powers. And who gave you the right to not only take mine, but take every other magical creature's powers? Valen's eyes narrow and turn back to that cold silver with each step. Celeste's face contorted with brief malice and rage before returning to turning to confusion and rage. Cannot speak, but with mere facial expressions, you and I both understand how fucked you really are here. Worst part is, we still haven't even got to the best, worst feel of the night for you. Oops, release. Wait, why is my music not playing? There we go. heck is going on out there? Celeste roars, breaking her right arm free from the chair. Alan catches her hand as she reaches for the dagger. Catches her hand as she reaches for the dagger. Slams her arm down onto the chair and then stabs the blade through her arm into the chair. I never noticed how much of the big picture I was missing until I realized I had you the whole time. Melon's lips stretch into villainous smile. I know that's not how you're supposed to do this. To a villainous smile. As Celeste roars in his face. This already happened. Okay. So that's all there. I want to see if anyone will write me any comments. But yeah, we're gonna keep going on. I'm going to edito this. WT means working title. So I think I'm gonna write for a few more minutes, and then I'll probably get off for a bit. Because I need to cook some stuff. But I'm basically trying to figure out what I want this real first chapter to be, like where I want it to be at. Because right now my idea is I want him to have already awakened his powers, but I'm also like, I could write him getting them and then skip over some things. So through his uncovered window, flashes of light illuminating. The lights of the city down below danced across Valen's apartment. Through his uncovered window, flashes of light illuminating Valen in his 1,000-yard stare as he looked down at the quiet streets below. In between drags of his joint and drifting thoughts, Valen can't stop replaying the dream over and over again. The silver eyes glowing in the back of his mind and watching. He takes a final drag, extinguishing the rest of the joint in his ashtray before recentering his eyes across the road towards the woodlands. Watching the trees sway back and forth, rain began to slowly patter on the window before the wind began to pick up. And then there were sheets of rain falling down on the streets below. You've got to be kidding me, Valen thought to himself. As he stood up and walked to the window, he looked down to the flooded streets below and sighed. What is a day in Washington if there is no rain, right? Valen mocked the man he heard. Mocked the phrase he heard a man say on his first rainy day in Seattle. set a timer. Threatening terrain. When it wasn't raining. Everything seemingly became a new experience and transition for him. He quickly grabbed up what he needed for the day. Hoping he packed everything back up from the previous day and left out the door. With his coat, raincoat, book, bag, and daily water bottle. I have interest in living in Seattle, but it's not like top tier for me. I think it would be cool to live there at some point. But with how much people talk about it raining, I don't know how much I really want to live there. If it rains as much as I've heard, probably not. No, I did not delete it. Fuck. Maybe. Now I'm trying to remember where I got that lady's name from because I liked it. Now I don't remember where I got it from. Because I usually use this, and now I'm like, I don't know where I got her name from. Fuck. Maybe I'll just do this. You know what? Magic store. Just look up what a magic shop would be called. That's basically what this is called. Nope. Not what I clicked at all. Ah, there it is. Ooh, it should be in French. Don't judge me, anyone watching that knows French, because you're either not typing fast enough or... No, that's so close, though. It's like almost what I want. Maybe this one? No. No. I think this is Sinister Sat. Are you for real? That's not what I want. Obviously, that's not what I want. That's what it was. I was like, I want Creole names. Am I losing my fucking mind? I love how on one thing it's there. Okay, I guess we'll just go Cajun. Seriously? I clicked that one, but sure. Oh, I love this. I'm so good at just manifesting shit for myself, but this works perfectly. Fuck yeah. Well, that's better. The gathering tree. that's a good place to stop, everyone. Hope everyone enjoyed watching me write today. I most likely, my next stream is most likely going to be Bayonetta on Saturday, so I will catch you guys most likely on Saturday. This is hopefully going to be going up as a video on my YouTube channel, so if you haven't already gone there, it's running wild on there, so go ahead and check that out. And I will catch you guys in the next stream. Hope you guys enjoyed today. And yeah, it's been fun. Peace.